Hi, it's Shawn Banks, and welcome to another episode of Extension Gardener on the Crystal Coast. I'm out here at the Eastern Park, and I wanted to show you a couple of flowers that I saw as I was walking around. Here's one right here, the iris. It's a native iris. It's just growing in the little canal here, or ditch that goes along the side of the park. It's got this pretty blue flower. The height's about 3 foot tall, but check out the pretty color on that flower right there. Isn't that just a gorgeous flower? And there's several of them right here in this little ditch, just growing right there in the water. Very pretty flower. Right here next to it, there's another pretty flower right here. You can't see the leaves of it very well, but this is one that's called fleabane. It's in the aster family. It's also a very pretty one, but you'll see it growing wild along the roadside. So is it really a wildflower or is it more of a weed? I guess I'll let you decide on that one. Here's another pretty patch of that fleabane. Just all the beautiful purple and yellow flowers. If you're an ECU fan, it's a great one to have around. It only blooms early in the spring though, and once it's finished blooming, it's done. But it makes a great pollinator plant for early in the spring. One more flower that I wanted to point out, because it's so prevalent right now at this time, is these white flowers that you'll see on a lot of the wild blackberry. And there's also another plant that's called the dewberry that have been blooming this time of the year. This one I think is just a wild blackberry because it's more upright. Dewberry usually crawls along the ground. Not sure which species this one is. It only has 3 leaflets on it instead of 5, which should be a pretty good characteristic to identify it. But very pretty white flowers that are blooming all over everywhere right now. Makes for a very pretty spring. You might have to look a little bit harder to see it, but right back there, I'm on the eastern side of the park now, and right back there there's some pink feather bush blooming right now, the Leonia. You do have to look a little bit harder to see it, and I can't get close enough to it because that's across the ditch, but there it is. Alright, here's one more flower that I think most of us would agree is a weed, but it's just so pretty that I just can't help myself but to video it. This is a thistle. You can see the pretty round bloom there, but if you look at the leaf right here, you can see all those nasty mean thorns on there. It does have such a pretty flower to it. These are actually pretty tall. They're about 4 feet up. Beautiful flowers. Here's one more plant that caught my eye as I was walking around here. This is a soft rush or a juncus. Look at how pretty those flowers are. Blooming this time of the year. Nice round foliage to it. Kind of sharp on the tip there, it looks like, so I'm not going to poke my finger on it, but look how pretty and soft that looks as I back away from that plant there. It's growing right there in the water as well, so if you got a wet area, don't be afraid to consider some of these wetland plants as well. I was nearing the end of my walk when I saw this pretty flowering shrub over here next to the creek, or canal or ditch or whatever you want to call it. It's got all these pretty white flowers on it, so I wanted to get a short little video of these white flowers. This is one of our native hollies. It's not the Yaupon holly, and I'll put a name up here to tell you which one it is, but I am not exactly sure. But right now it's blooming and it's got these big pretty white flowers on there. It's just so pretty to look at. There you go, a pretty still shot. The wind's not blowing. But native holly that's growing in our woods here.